Who are going to be sleepers for the Oklahoma Sooners? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners are a team hoping to get back into playoff contention. And one college football analyst, Jay, believes that the Sooners could be a bracket buster.
Yeah, there's conversations right now that Oklahoma is one of the programs that could possibly surprise teams in college football. The Athletic has been writing about it. I saw an article from them. Saw an article from on ESPN. I've seen an article over at CBS Sports. John, everybody is now starting to look at Oklahoma a lot closer than I like. I'm kind of feeling uncomfortable if you really want me to be 100% honest. I would like less people to give Oklahoma props. I would like less people to think, well, you know, last year was a fluke. It definitely was an anomaly with all the injuries, and there's a chance they can bounce back. No, stop saying that. I want you to say that Oklahoma sucks, and there's no chance they can do anything, so we can continue to sneak by and potentially win this bad boy. But no, it's becoming a very big trend, and every time we get on here and talk about that, a lot of people are getting upset. They're like, don't put the cart before the horse. We're not. We're just pointing out what everybody else is saying because we totally see. We understand what the news outlets are finally starting to see. They're starting to recognize, okay, no, seriously, those injuries is not a very common thing. And if Oklahoma gets past that, there's a chance they're going to be a threat. John, do you really think that the team can be a threat, though?
If they can keep one of their starting wide receivers healthy, I think they can be a threat. Just one. I just need one. It might be asking a lot, but two? Can I get two of my top three wide receivers to be healthy and stay healthy for the entire season? I mean, right now we're not there. You know, one of your three projected starters is available, and Javonte Gibson, and apparently he's tearing up spring ball right now. But you're going to need playmakers elsewhere. You got to have the offensive line step up, have good continuity, be a better unit than what it was last year. I mean, there's potential. I mean, there's a potential for Oklahoma to be a playoff contender, but that schedule is brutal, man. And we've talked about it. I don't think it's as brutal as what people are making it out to be. I think it's very manageable for the Sooners, but it's that November stretch where they play at Tennessee, bye week, at Alabama, and then you have Missouri and LSU to finish the season. Those 4 games, that's going to tell the tale of Oklahoma's 2025 season, in my opinion. Obviously, the Texas game is huge, but how you finish in those 4 games is going to determine whether or not you make the playoff.
Yeah.
You've got a quarterback in John Mateer that I think is capable of leading Oklahoma to it. Remember, Will Howard and Riley Leonard were in the national championship game. And if you would have asked anybody this time a year ago if Will Howard and Riley Leonard were national championship winning quarterbacks, I think the majority of people would have said no. There were going to be some that said, hey, you know what? Will Howard at Kansas State in 2023 was really good. Riley Leonard's had some really good moments at Duke. But I don't think anybody would have projected them to be national championship contending quarterbacks. You've got something similar in John Mateer, a guy who, one, is a transfer quarterback, but two, a very athletic quarterback that can run and run well, and he can run physically. And it's a guy that you can kind of lean on in your offense, much like Ohio State did with Will Howard and much like Notre Dame did with Riley Leonard. You can lean on a guy like John Mateer, not only to throw the football, but also get you dirty yards. When you're getting into those 3rd and 4th in short situations, you can run a lot of that quarterback power because he's a much more powerful runner than Jackson Arnold is. Jackson Arnold's a good runner, but he just doesn't have the same power that John Mateer has. So, I mean, there's potential. The defense is going to be good. John Mateer is going to be good. Got to be healthy at wide receiver and along the offensive line, and you have to be better at those positions than you were last year.
Yeah, and as we're breaking down these rooms, and I'm getting more and more excited about, especially the defense and what the potential truly is there, because bringing back as much production, even though it's roughly at 40, 46th in the country, bringing back the production that we are as a team, John, that stands out to what, Brent Venables has been trying to do. And I was listening to Gabe and Teddy talk over the Oklahoma Breakdown on their last episode when it was breaking down the linebacker room. The one thing that Teddy said that really jumped out to me was that Oklahoma played a lot of rotations, especially at linebacker. What that did was it got a lot of experience in critical snaps for a lot more players than you typically would get, because usually your stars are going to stay on the field as long as possible. But Oklahoma rotated a lot of those linebackers that way. So your Kobe McKenzie and your Kip Lewis in their rotations with Samuel Masigo, right? And, that allowed for them to, Kobe and Sammy to pick up some really big snaps and important moments in the game to where they can build that confidence in preparation for this year. Now they've kind of seen what it's like to be out there, high stakes 3rd down and 2, or 2nd down and 2, and you waiting to see if the offense is going to, take a shot deep because they've got, 2 more downs to get that 1st down, or if they're going to try to run it down your throat, and if you're ready to, be prepared for it, maybe even a trick play. That gets them in that mode to where they're prepared. So I'm pretty excited about that part, is that the snaps that are coming back are so high, especially in critical spots. Now all we got to do is, get the 2 defenders that we brought here from the portal, get them acclimated. I think this defense can be better than it was last year.
Answer the cornerback question. And again, you're not playing as experienced group of quarterbacks as you did last year. But if you answer the cornerback question, the defense is going to cook, because defensive line is great. Like, it's one of the best in the country. From 100%. Defensive end to defensive tackle, that's a group that's going to be as good as anybody in the country. It's all on the offense. It's really what 100%. It comes down to. And if pressure is privilege, all the pressure in the world right now is on John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle, and the offense. That's going to make or break Oklahoma season, because the defense is going to be good. And if the offense can get back to 30, 35 points a game, the Sooners are going to win enough games to be in the hunt when it comes to playoff selection time. We're going to continue to discuss position by position this spring. We got the Cheetah and safety group next. And Jay, this might be the best position group on the team.